Have you ever found yourself sort of stuck in that English learning rut?
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty common.
Yeah, where you feel like you're taking in words, you understand the grammar,
Hmm.
sort of, but when you actually try to express your ideas, your own voice,
Hmm.
it just feels, I don't know, clunky.
Like there's a disconnect. Yeah.
Yeah,
A bottleneck between understanding and actually producing.
exactly. Well, if that sounds familiar, then this deep dive is definitely for you. We're looking at writing today.
And not just formal writing, right?
No, not at all. We're talking
Oh.
about writing as maybe the most powerful tool for mastering English, and one that gets overlooked, well, a lot.
Definitely overlooked.
So, drawing on all the great source material you've shared with us, our mission here is to explore how regular writing can actually be a shortcut.
A shortcut. Interesting.
Yeah, a shortcut to fluency, accuracy, and maybe more importantly, a deeper way of processing the language. We're going to unpack the why and the how. And I think there are some genuinely surprising insights and practical steps here that go way beyond just, putting words down. It's about unlocking your expressive potential.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this.
All right.
So when most people think about learning a language,
Yeah.
speaking and listening jump out first, right? Maybe reading,
The active skills.
right? Writing often feels like homework, formal, a bit of a chore.
Yeah, academic.
But the truth, and this really shines through in the sources, is that writing isn't just making text. It's like a cognitive workout.
That's a great way to put it.
It makes you organize your thoughts, shape your ideas, and consciously practice those exact structures you need for, well, any kind of communication. It's like a superpower for building English mastery from the inside.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating, based on the research, is how writing gives you this unique pause. Yeah, unlike speaking, where your brain's racing for speed, writing lets you take these tiny moments.
Yeah.
You consciously think about grammar, which tense to use, check the punctuation, how to structure the sentence.
Right, you have time to actually apply the rules.
Exactly. That active encoding, deliberately using the rules, it helps. Well, it basically wires them into your long-term memory. It helps fix those stubborn errors that speaking alone might never correct. Accuracy really starts to embed itself there.
That's a key difference, isn't it? Not just knowing the rule, but physically encoding it through use. And I guess that precision extends to vocabulary, too.
Oh, hugely. Think about it. Most learners have a decent passive vocabulary words you get when you read or hear them.
Sure.
But writing forces those words into your active set. When you're trying to explain something specific on paper, you can't just grab the easiest word.
You have to search a bit more.
Right. You're looking for the most precise word. Maybe you open a thesaurus, compare big with enormous or huge or massive. That deliberate search, choosing the right nuance, it turns passive knowledge into something you can actually use. You build a richer way to describe things, express feelings.
So you're moving beyond just recognizing a word to really owning it. That must help with that common problem, the translation bottleneck.
Oh, definitely. That habit of thinking in your native language and then translating. It's a huge speed bump.
Makes things feel unnatural, slow.
Exactly. But regular writing, especially when you're writing your own thoughts, trains your brain to think directly in English. It builds those direct connections, skips the middleman, makes communication faster and more natural over time.
Okay, so it's building direct pathways.
Precisely. And it's not just words and grammar either. Writing, just by its nature, teaches you how to organize ideas.
Yeah.
Clearly, logically.
How so?
Well, you learn to use paragraphs to group ideas, use transition words, connectors like however, in addition, consequently, on the other hand.
The signposts.
Right. But the sources also warn against just sticking to the basic ones. It's about learning to use more nuanced connectors that subtly guide the reader. This kind of structured thinking is essential, not just for exams, but for clear communication anywhere, work, study.
So it clarifies your thinking itself, not just the language. And I imagine seeing your own thoughts laid out clearly on paper, that must do wonders for confidence.
It absolutely does. I mean, think about it. If you sit down and manage to write a clear email or a coherent journal entry, even a little story.
You feel like you achieved something tangible.
Exactly. There's a sense of mastery. And that comfort, that confidence with written English, it spills over. You feel more secure speaking up, giving presentations, even just in everyday chats. Writing really does prepare you for success across the board, clearer communication, better accuracy, more self-assurance.
Okay, that's a really strong case for why writing is such a superpower. But, like we said, the idea can still feel daunting. Formal essays, grammar drills.
Right, the scary stuff.
But the sources show a much more accessible way in. maybe even fun. This is where it gets really practical, I think.
Indeed. And the key, really, is variety and consistency. You don't need to write a masterpiece every day.
Yeah.
There are 6 really effective types of writing you can start with. First up, daily journaling.
Ah, the classic.
Easiest and maybe one of the most powerful ways to build the habit. Just write about your day, your feelings, goals, thoughts. No pressure.
Just get words down.
Yeah, like today I woke up early, made breakfast, went to work. Busy day, but feeling good. Simple stuff. It builds fluency with everyday words and structures, especially good for practicing past tense.
Makes sense. What's next?
Creative writing. This is where you can let loose a bit. Short stories, poems, maybe fictional letters or dialogues.
Unleash the imagination.
Exactly. And the sources point out this is fantastic for building emotional vocabulary. When you write a fictional scene, you're not just looking for sad. You might explore melancholy, despair, grief.
Learning the nuances.
Right, and how to show them through descriptions, actions, dialogue. Like, Anna, where are we going, Mark? It's a surprise. Promise you'll love it, Anna. You always say that. Short, simple, but it practices natural speech.
Yeah, that sounds way more engaging than just drilling grammar.
Right.
And it tackles expressing feelings, which can be tough.
It really does. Then, okay, for those aiming for academics or professional settings, there's essay writing.
The more formal one.
Right. More structured. You can start with simple topics, my favorite food, why I learned English, usually introduction, body paragraphs, conclusion. It teaches organization using those logical connectors first. Next, however, in conclusion. Crucial for exams like IELTS or TOEFL.
Got it. What else?
Another really practical one, emails and messages. This is everyday communication for most people now.
True.
You learn that vital skill of adjusting your tone, formal versus informal.
Like, dear Sir Madam versus, hey, Sarah.
Exactly. A formal one might start, I'm writing to inquire about. An informal one, just wanted to say thanks for yesterday. It sharpens your clarity, politeness, and you pick up useful phrases like, I look forward to hearing from you.
And what about online stuff? Social media?
Perfect. Social media posts, for people already spending time there, it's a great low-stakes way in.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. Short posts, comments on Facebook, Instagram, X. It forces you to be concise, impactful. You practice everyday language like, finished my English homework, feeling accomplished. Or, learning new words daily is rewarding. #EnglishLearner. Great for picking up idioms, even internet slang.
Integrates into daily habits easily. One more.
Last one, mainly for non-native speakers. Translation practice.
Translating into English.
Exactly. Pick a short bit from your native language, a quote, maybe a news headline, and translate it.
Nice.
But here's the crucial tip from the sources. Don't translate word for word.
Focus on the meaning.
Yes. Focus on expressing the meaning naturally in English. It's like, you wouldn't translate, it's raining cats and dogs, literally, right?
Yeah. No, definitely not.
So if your native sentence means something like, I missed the bus and arrived late to school, you aim for natural English. I was late to school because I missed the bus. This really sharpens your understanding of sentence structure differences and pushes you to think in English.
That makes so much sense. Avoid the literal trap. So it's clear having this variety of practice methods gives you tools for almost any situation. Yeah. Formal report or quick tweet.
Absolutely. Consistency and variety are the keys.
But what if you're still hesitant, worried about mistakes, or just don't know where to begin? The sources also talk about tools and support, right?
They do. And leveraging the right tools can definitely smooth the path and boost confidence faster.
Like what?
Well, Grammarly is a big one. Checks grammar, punctuation, word choice. And importantly, it often explains why something's an error so you learn.
Okay, educational.
Then there's the Hemingway editor, different focus. It helps make your writing bold and clear. Flags, long sentences, passive voice, too many adverbs. Kind of like a clarity coach.
Oh, interesting. More about style.
Yeah. Quillbot is another useful one for paraphrasing, rewriting sentences to improve clarity or tone, or just finding different ways to say things. Helps expand vocabulary, too.
And what about AI like ChatGPT?
That can be surprisingly helpful. ChatGPT can give personalized feedback, explain grammar points, even give you writing prompts. You can practice writing dialogues or stories with it.
Versatile. Any others?
Of course, simple tools like Google Docs are great for just writing, editing, sharing easily.
And what about getting feedback from real people? That seems crucial.
Invaluable, and there are platforms for that. LangCorrect lets you post your writing, and native speakers can offer corrections and suggestions. Real feedback on natural phrasing.
Okay.
Similarly, Journaly is a community specifically for English learners to publish writing and get constructive feedback. That human element, that external perspective, you just can't fully replicate it with AI.
Those sound like fantastic resources. Take some of the fear out of it. But, okay, even with tools, sometimes you just stare at the screen.
Yeah.
Blank page syndrome. What about what to write? Any tips for getting started?
Yeah, the sources suggest using writing prompts to get the creative juices flowing. They can really help overcome that block.
Like what kind of prompts?
Things like, describe your happiest memory, what happened, why was it special? Or, describe your dream job, where, what, why.
Gets you thinking personally.
Exactly. Or a fun one. What would you do if you were invisible for a day? Great for practicing conditional grammar. Like, if I were invisible, I would.
Ooh, nice.
You could write a letter to your future self, talk about your goals now, or describe someone who inspires you and explain why. Another good one. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? Describe the place, the lifestyle.
These all tap into personal experience, make it less like homework.
Right. Less of a chore, more about expressing yourself.
Perfect for getting the ball rolling. Okay, so this all sounds amazing, beneficial, but making it a habit, that's often the hard part. The sources mention a structured plan, a 30-day thing.
They do, a 30-day beginner plan. It's designed to build that daily habit gently, step by step, so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
How does it work?
It breaks it down, like days 1 to 5, just simple daily journal entries, maybe 5-10 sentences.
Okay, manageable.
Days 6-10, maybe describe people or places around you, just adding a bit more description. Days 11 to 15, probably writing very short stories, say 50, 100 words.
Building complexity slowly.
Exactly. Days 16-20, focus on dialogues or short conversations. Days 21-25, practice emails or letters, thinking about formal versus informal tone. And days 26-30, maybe try short opinion pieces using those connectors.
So it cycles through different types.
Yeah. The main thing is sticking with it consistently, not worrying out perfection, especially at the start. Just write.
That structure really helps remove the guesswork.
Yeah.
So beyond that initial 30-day kickoff, what are the key long-term strategies for improvement?
The sources consistently highlight a few core principles for success. First, kind of obviously, read more.
It seems counterintuitive for improving writing, but...
Yeah, not at all. Reading is how you absorb natural sentence patterns, see vocabulary used correctly in context, understand how ideas flow. It seeps in subconsciously. The more you read, the more natural your writing becomes.
Okay. Input feeds output. Makes sense.
Second, and this is crucial, write regularly. We keep saying it, but even 5-10 sentences daily makes a huge difference. Treat it like brushing your teeth, a non-negotiable habit.
Consistency over quantity sometimes.
Definitely. Third, revise and edit. Don't just write and move on. Go back, reread, look for errors, or get someone else to look. That's how you spot your weak points and really improve accuracy.
Learn from the mistakes.
Precisely. Fourth, use a dictionary and thesaurus. Actively. Don't just check a definition. Explore synonyms, antonyms. Find richer words. Instead of very big, try enormous, colossal, immense. It makes your writing much more expressive.
Adds depth.
Fifth, and this can be transformative, learn from feedback, actively ask for it. Teachers, friends, those online communities like LingCorrect or Journaly. Getting an outside view is one of the fastest ways to grow. They see things you miss.
Don't be afraid to share.
Exactly. And finally, set writing goals. Small, achievable ones. Write 100 words a day for a month. Use 5 new vocabulary words this week. Little targets keep you motivated and show you're making progress.
These all sound like solid, actionable tips. I love how the sources also show that progression, right? How a simple start evolves.
Yeah, they give examples. A beginner's journal might be super simple. Today, I went to the market. I bought vegetables and fruits. I met my friend there. We had coffee. Good day. Basic past tense, simple words. But it's a foundation.
Right. It's doing it.
Then that practice lets you move up. Maybe an intermediate letter.
Dear Sarah, hope you're well. Wanted to tell you about my new English class. It's fun and helpful. Learning a lot. Your friend Aisha. You're using informal tone, greetings, sharing news, building on the basics.
Clear progression.
And then eventually you can tackle something more advanced, like a short story. Emma woke late, missed the bus, ran to school, forgot homework. Teacher angry. Then Emma smiled. I have a story instead. Class listened. Emma saved the day.
Ah, nice twist. See, now you're using narration, dialogue, showing character, being creative. It shows the journey from simple sentences to more complex storytelling, all built through that consistent practice.
It really illustrates the path.
Yeah.
So wrapping this up, we've seen the huge benefits of writing, explored lots of ways to practice, even fun ways. looked at tools and prompts, and got a plan for building the habit.
Mm.
Writing isn't just another box to tick. It seems like it's this incredibly powerful way to master English from the inside out.
Yeah.
It sharpens your thinking, builds confidence, and just fundamentally changes how you communicate.
I think if we connect this to the bigger picture, the main takeaway from all these sources is that deliberate, consistent, varied writing practice is key. Every time you write something, anything, you're making real progress. You're getting better at sharing your unique voice with the world in English.
So the final thought for you listening. What does this all mean? How
Yeah.
could dedicating just a few minutes each day to writing, maybe just a couple of sentences in a journal, a quick post online, how could that change not just your English, but maybe your whole approach to learning and expressing yourself?
It's worth signing out.
Definitely. We really hope you feel inspired to start today. Even just a line or two. That blank page. It's waiting for you.